are there certain events that are pre-planned in our lives from our higher selves that are going to take place no matter what our conscious minds do?
In the general sense, the answer is yes. For instance, everyone here today on this planet has agreed to be on this planet at this time for the changes that are to take place. These changes are going to occur no matter what each individual wants or how each individual wants it to go. The changes are set in place and they will take place, and we are all going to experience them while they do. Now, the free will comes from the place of choosing how awake we each would like to be to our fears at this time, and how we choose to experience the roller coaster that we have all entered.
So that makes sense. So in a larger sense, do the higher selves of all incarnate beings on the planet somehow communicate with each other and come to a decision at a higher level for these global changes that you're talking about? Is it a decision that is made by everybody's higher self, or is it a decision made by what we would call God or some other higher being?
The grid of energies that have come together to create these events is vast. And predestined from a place of God. And the earth herself has requested these changes. The earth, you know, is a multi-dimensional being. The earth exists of many beings on the 9th dimension, and together they form an energy that has created many, many forms of life on this planet over millions and billions of years of trial and error. And this is just yet one more trial and error and fix that will allow the earth to continue her role in the universe as a being that provides intelligence and life and opportunity for many, 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 many spirits. So just like every human life has an evolution, this is part of the evolution of this planet, is to begin a shift in energy that will force human beings to shift their energies and force the other spirits, meaning rocks, trees, soil, water, fish, animals, birds, clouds. There's no thing on the planet that does not have its own consciousness, and every single one of those things will also force their own change.
Will force their own change. That's an interesting statement. So that means that you're... yeah, keep going.
As I said that, I heard that actually, the words that meant to come out were they will be forced through their own change, through this shift that's taking place on the planet.
Be forced through their own change.
Yes, be forced through their own change. So I see it visually like a wave. So the wave comes up Think of a tsunami. It comes up, it builds a lot of energy, and it needs to break, and when it does, it takes everything with it. Okay? And that is not a death sentence for anyone or anything on this planet. It is not about anything being annihilated or killed. I'm talking merely about an energetic wave that's coming through that will create change for everything that it touches. And there will be nothing on this planet and the reverberations of that farther and farther out that will not be touched.
How can we be guided by our higher selves to incorporate this change in a way that's for the highest good of each one of us? Is it simply through the meditation and just trust that your higher self is going to put you in the situation that you need to be? Or is this just something that is going to happen and there's not a whole lot we can do about it? I hope that question makes sense.
No. I will say that the answer was yes.
Yeah.
Through meditation and connection to the higher self and trust, we will absolutely be put exactly where we need to be and where we want to be from a soul level.
Yeah, I guess my question wasn't stated very clearly. I guess I was driving at, is there anything we need to do other than be open to trusting our higher selves to get this process moving in the highest good for all of us? Or is it just allow the flow?
There's some interest in your question because it comes from a place of feeling that the lack of control in the environment is somehow a reflection on you. So the answer for that is not simple. However, the answer, they're talking amongst themselves.
It's a complicated question.
Could you restate it?
Yeah. Is there anything specifically that we should be doing to prepare ourselves for this inevitable change? Or is it just to be in the flow, allow it to happen, and react to whatever happens in the highest way that you can? I guess that's a clearer statement.
Okay. Yes. It's, again, an interesting question because the answer is yes to both of those.
Okay.
That the clearer each person is, meaning the less fear each person has and the more connected they are from a place of remembering that we each are our higher selves. We each are our own divinity. Anything that needs to happen in preparation will be taken care of.
Okay.
We won't need to think through anything. We'll know to go here instead of there. We will one day get in the car and drive on vacation and happen to be in the right place at the right time, or we will decide to call out sick at work that day, or we will, marry this person and not that person, or whatever it looks like. And the easiest way to do that is to stay in connection with spiritual guidance, which, as I have told the questioner many times, although the information comes down through us in a wonderful column of light, the information is not actually anywhere outside of us, but it comes from the heart. And so it's about focusing in on and listening to and quieting the heart to be able to receive all messages and all impetus that we require.
It's a great answer. But I'll speak for me, and maybe I speak for some other people too. Sometimes it's difficult to know that your higher self and you have the same goals. Meaning, I kind of feel like free will is not completely true. In other words, if your higher self is guiding you along this process, and it's going to happen X, Y, or Z way no matter what you do, then that's not technically free will. But I guess the conundrum comes from myself still thinking of the conscious mind and the higher self being separate entities.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
And that was going to be the answer, is that when we believe that the ego is not the God self, when we believe that there is a separation between the two and not part of the whole, then we can fall into victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And being a victim is not only about having an experience that we don't particularly want, it's also about how we deal with that experience after having it. Because any experience, seemingly wanted or unwanted, is a message to us about our desires and about how we hold our fear. And so the more we clean all of that up, the more we project ourselves on a path that is in alignment with our higher selves.
Now, that's a great way to put it. You project yourself onto a path that's more in alignment with your higher self.
And need I say that the higher self holds no fear?
Right.
You know, there's no fear within that impetus energy, which is only desiring an experience that moves us closer and closer to remembering our God self. So, being on the path of our higher self is only positive. Period.
Okay, I'll ask you this as maybe a final question because it's kind of a big thing. Why do we do this at all? If your higher self is connected to all that is and already knows all the answers, why would we split off and incarnate and pretend in the game that we don't know the answers? What's the purpose in that? It's a very deep question, I know.
Why does a tree not stay as a trunk, but instead develop branches which reach outward farther and farther and farther and turning into leaves?
It's a good analogy because it can, because it's programmed to do so, because, no, I'm missing it.
Because that is the way that it understands itself to the fullest that it can be.
That's a great answer.
Because every single human being, which is a tiny part of each individual spirit, which are tiny parts of the soul group, and tiny parts of the greater souls, in tiny, tiny individual parts of God. Each one is having an experience that allows it to express in a different way than the next one.
Allows it to express in a different way than the next particle or connection.
Absolutely. Or soul.
Or soul,
or
whatever.
energy
Yeah.
source. And that when taken in the whole, we see this incredible crystal with a billion, billion, billion facets on it. Each one a different color and a different shape and a different feel and a different experience and size and smell and all of it. And together it is the most beautiful, unbelievably and unimaginably expressed being that knows itself completely. And so without each part, it's a round globe with only one side.
That's a beautiful answer. I really felt that answer. And you know I don't feel things much. That was a great answer. And probably a good way to end.
Okay, yeah, that was a good answer for me too.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
That was I've never heard that answer before,
Yeah.
expressed in that way.